Today, we are at one of the most expensive locations in Bangalore, the Crystal Villa. You would have seen this amazing structure on the internet known by the name the Glass House. But today, we are here to meet the person behind it, Thomas Abraham. Once a part-time teacher, today he is a founder of a design studio and runs an architectural college in Bangalore. So let's understand from him how once a teacher can today own a Jaguar and this villa. Let's go. Hi, Thomas.
Hi,
Welcome to Power Up. Thank you so much for hosting us in this beautiful house.
you're most welcome. I really mean that.
Yeah. So I think, Thomas, we have seen this house in multiple videos, but as we were speaking, right, today I want to know the Thomas behind all of this.
Yeah.
So let's start with, your early career journey. What I'm very curious to know what are the series of events that led to this today?
Did my college at IIT Kharagpur, right? But my dad happened to be one of those Deshbhakt kind of guys, right? Okay, and while I was in college, I was in my third year of my 5-year program, he passed away. He also had inculcated that little bit of patriotism in me. So, and I thought it's about time I probably paid back to my country. Thirdly, I also was born and brought up abroad.
Okay.
So for me, India was like abroad for me.
Okay.
It's in that sense of, and last but not least, I don't know if people are aware, but the Indian government spends a substantial amount of money subsidizing education in IIT. Okay,
Right.
a lot of money. Which means, and let's be honest, India is not a super rich country that they can afford to do that. So I thought, when the average Indian who's much less fortunate than I am, he or she is literally subsidizing my education, it makes sense, and it's only the most ethical, honest thing for me to do, to hang around in India and try to contribute as much as possible. Okay, so that's how I ended up staying back in India. But let me also tell you what happened. So when I came from after college,
This is what year?
it's around 20 years ago.
20 years. Okay.
Right. Okay. When I came from college, okay. So for me, I had nobody in Bangalore, right? I had no friends, no family, nothing. So I had a couple of batchmates from IIT who were staying in Bangalore. I just reached out to them, and they took me to a lodge. Okay. This is in Sidhya Road. Sidhya Road, for people who do not know, is just off Double Road. It's a place where a lot of truck bodybuilding, etc. happen. Okay. Totally run down. The kind of place where, to quote one of my friends, where rapists and murderers will stay. Okay, that kind of, really shady, murky kind of place. When you're fresh out of college and you don't want to live off your parents' money, like in this case, my mom's money. So you thought you need to earn it to be able to spend it. Okay, so I moved into that. It is a lodge, and we had double rooms between two people to a room, and all of us sharing the toilets.
Okay.
And this is a place with the water problem. So you can imagine what the toilet state would be. Yeah, exactly. I was aghast. I grew up abroad then in Kuwait was then the richest country in the world. And I was like, oh, where did I end up? Okay. But I thought I'll stay there for just a week, and then I'll move out.
Okay.
But I ended up staying there for 3 years. So then finally, after 3 years, I decided I'm going to get out. And I finally got out. Okay. To a decent place, very nice place. Okay. On Convent Road. Okay. And in the meantime, almost exactly the same time, while I was working as an architect.
Okay. The first 3 years?
Yes, those 3 years. Okay. Architects, very much like most young professionals, don't get paid very much when you're working for somebody, right? But let me also be frank with you. I don't think I deserve to get paid much, because I was probably the worst employee of my boss. Okay. I'm still in contact with Sanjay Moy, he's probably India's top architect today. I still tell him, boss, you'll go to heaven just for not throwing me out, because I'm so bad. I was so bad. If I was my own boss, I would have said out. But you know why? I was, right from childhood, I've been very entrepreneurial.
Okay.
Right from childhood. Okay. Now looking back, a lot of things. I used to do a lot of things by myself to make some pocket money here, because my parents didn't give us any pocket money.
Okay.
Yes, zero. Now it sounds like child abuse, right? Okay, right.
And what was your first salary like?
Oh, don't even ask. You don't want to go. It's embarrassing. Don't even ask. Don't even go there. We are in the 4 figures if you want to know. Okay, forget 5 figures. So you understand. So which means less than 10 grand, much less than 10 grand. So you can imagine how it is. Okay. Then I said, if I continue like this, I'm not going to fulfill my potential, because I thought I was reasonably talented, and I'm not doing anything worthwhile here. And I'll become, when I'm 40 or 50 or 60, I'll become an old uncle, staying in the same office, following the same desk, doing nothing that I want to do. So one day I just decided to quit. I just quit. I had almost zero savings, actually close to zero savings. I decided to quit. I had no projects. I had no any idea where the next meal is going to come from. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I literally mean that. I literally mean that. But sometimes you tell you one thing. Sometimes hunger is the best driver. It actually makes you want to go at it. See, so I quit. And but one thing I got from my mom, I inherited from my mom, is a small office space of 350 square feet.
Okay.
350 square feet is a small, very small office space. Yeah. So then I needed to get some steady income, right? So I decided to teach.
Okay.
Teach meaning, somebody told me that there is some institute teaching interior design,
Okay.
and they need a part-time teacher. I said, damn good, I'll do that. I'll go and approach them. And I got the job. And guess what? I was getting, now I'll tell you the numbers. I was getting $5,000.
Okay.
And I felt like a prince because that is still probably more than what I was getting as an architect. Okay. 5,000, no.
As a part-time teacher.
Yeah, as a part-time teacher, exactly. There for full-time I was getting less than that. So this part-time teacher was, 5,000 was like, grow up, man. I've become rich, man.
Yeah, of course.
So my rent is only $500, so $4,500 is of food and everything else. So yeah, so I started teaching just 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, right? 4 hours a day. That's it. Just 3 days a week.
Nice.
I just loved the job. Probably looking back, probably the best job I ever had. Okay, even though I was working there, I was working with somebody else, but I'm not reporting anybody else. I'm the teacher, right? I'm the guru, right? I'm the boss, right? And I just loved it. Okay, but look at this. The class went on so well, right? You would think, right? Next year they'll give me a promotion, or guess what they did? Next year they fired me.
What?
Envy is such a powerful human impulse, because you know what happened? Students started coming to the institute. They didn't want to study in any other batch except a batch taught by me. So that became a problem. So that's exactly. And of course, there was some envy involved also. So I said, okay, quit. You know, what am I going to do? Yeah, but in India, we also have this thing, right? If you can't practice, you will teach. Right? Okay, so which means I said, yeah, that's maybe any good thing I lost my job. Okay, I'll go back to start do my architecture profession. So then one afternoon, I had, remember I told you I had the chair and the table and 3 chairs. I was putting my head on the table, and I was slightly dozing off, so to speak. And suddenly, a couple of my old students walk into my room. I don't know how they found where I'm staying and where my office is. Somehow they found me out. Why don't you start your own institute? We will get you students. I said, huh? He said, yeah, this 350 square feet of space is not large, but you just right now have 1 table and 3 chairs. Put some more furniture. We will get you students yourselves. And then my old students got me 5 students.
Okay.
And then I got another 8 more. By what I would do is I would make posters, handmade posters. I didn't have money to print them. Handmade posters. I'll go and stick them in restaurants, in beauty parlors, in a lot of places. And the first year I started with 13 students. That's how it started, you know. So then it grew from there, you know. So it grew from there in the last couple of decades, you know. Now I would say we are one of the more prominent institutions in our field, okay, in design.
So, Thomas, I love your story, right? From that shady lodge to now owning the glass villa. It's absolutely inspirational. Would love to understand, you know, how your money mindset has been like all throughout these 20 years, right? What's been your relationship with money and how has it evolved?
So right now, if I invest, I don't invest in stocks specifically, but I invest in mutual funds.
Okay. So how does your portfolio look like? The allocations, how much is in, say, funds or how much is in real estate?
Okay, mutual funds, okay, I still don't do index funds, but I do mid cap, flexi cap, small caps, okay. Yeah, but right now my primary investments are I have Invesco, Indonippon, Motilal Oswal, flexi funds, all those things. At the moment, if you look at percentage, it's almost 100%.
100%
at the moment, yeah, at the moment, okay. So what I was talking about right now was the investment that's in the current year. Now, if you ask me for my total historical assets, yeah, there in fact we might have a skew more in terms of real estate than thing. Okay, maybe substantially more for real estate. Let's say maybe it's 70-30.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Almost substantially more.
70% real estate, 30% markets.
And then after, or maybe let's make it 60-30 and then 10 for all the other asset classes.
Okay, like the collectibles and
I think that exactly. Those
okay.
okay.
So do you also do in fixed income assets, or it's just
like
markets,
bank FD.
FDs, bonds, etc.?
Not yet. When I'm much older, I will do that.
Okay.
My mom does that. Okay. I used to use money market funds. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So from my business, okay. I also, by the way, I run a college. The college is primarily a trust, which means there's no income taxes, right? So it's a trust, right? It's an education trust, okay. But I also run a coaching institution, okay, which is one of the largest in its field. We have run 13, 14 branches, okay. So those, if I have any money lying, okay, instead of just leaving in the bank, savings, or whatever, I put in money market funds as well. So it's, I think it's only 1% or 0.5% higher than the bank FD, but you have liquidity and all that. Yeah, okay. So we do that. Money market funds we do.
So, you like doing DIY yourself, right? And burning your hands in stocks and FNOs to then sort of giving it to an expert and having like a well diversified portfolio.
Yeah.
Along the journey, what is like that one biggest financial mistake that you made, if you know, that you regret today?
You know, the funniest thing in any investment is not what to buy or even when to buy. It's what to sell and when to sell. That's always a regret. It's always regret. And unfortunately, most experts don't tell you that. They'll all tell you about the stocks that are going to go up, which has trends for 10 years, whatever, okay? Of course, I'm not blaming them because their logic is you are buying for the long term. But most people are not Warren Buffett. They're not in investment for that, okay? I'll give you some of that FNO thing, for example. Yes, we all thought the Vajpayee government will win again or something like that. But the Vajpayee government did not win. The Congress won. The stock market crashed. I mean, for a few days, India, of course, picked up.
How much did you risk it?
Lots. Okay. All the profits I had made in a year got wiped out in a day or two.
Oh.
You understand it? Knowing when to sell, that unfortunately, we need experts to tell you that, guys, get out of the stock right now. Okay?
And did your investment journey up until the first crore was different from the journey after? Why I ask this is because usually investments or portfolio up till 1 crore is built very differently, in life after 1 crore is usually different. What was that like for you?
So initially the first 1 crore profit I made, I'm sure I've lost it. And yeah, so I'm sure I cannot say exactly the numbers, but I'm sure whatever the lump sum I made by my so-called investment initially, I would have lost it. Okay. Then learn the hard way. Then learn this is not properly for me. Maybe that's something else I should do, and so on and so forth. Yeah. But and I've also diversified from purely olden days was only stock and some real estate. Okay. I've also diversified in other asset classes like watches and
Yeah, you mentioned watches, paintings. Do you invest in collectibles?
Yes, to some
And
extent.
what percentage of your portfolio?
Not large. It's large. It's not large because see, the problem is those kind of markets don't have much depth. You understand? And depth and liquidity is not very great. Okay. I'll give you an example of a Rolex watch I bought. If you go to most Rolex showrooms in the world, you know what you'll see? No watches.
Okay.
Even in Bangalore, anywhere in the world, they don't have watches there. But that is their marketing technique.
Really?
Say I went to the shop at the UBC in Bangalore. They don't have any watches for sale. They only have a couple of display pieces. And then to get a watch, guess what? They wanted to see my social media profile.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Oh, that is the beginning of it. Don't worry. Okay, they saw my social media profile. They said, okay. They saw me. Oh, okay. Then I think you've been here. You've done that. You've done. Okay. Yeah, I think you should be one of the people who buy. You're not just another businessman or some landlord. I called the sales guys to my home here.
Oh.
I wine and dine them.
Wow.
Okay, I would keep in constant touch with them on the phone. Seriously, for buying a watch. Now they give me what's a gift.
I can't relate to any of it.
Yes, can you imagine? Yeah. No, you would if somebody offered you a Birkin, by the way. Okay. Right, okay. I went and dined them, kept in touch with them for 2-3 months, and finally I got my watch. After waiting, I think 6-7 months of waiting, I got one watch. Great. Then I thought, okay, it's very difficult to get a watch, right? So now you know where the demand is built, right? Now, like you said, most people don't want to go to all the trouble to do all this thing, right? That's why there's very, very high demand for secondary market. So which means in a Rolex or AP or many of these watches, the resale price is often higher than the buy price at which you buy. It's like a stock. Okay, or like any investment.
Great, Thomas. I think after the investment conversation, I think let's address the elephant in the house, which is the house itself. So what's the market price of this villa as of today?
Today, I would think, I don't know, let me say, the The land is around 25,000 square feet. Okay, it would easily be around 4 to 5,000 per square for the land. So that's how much 25,000 square feet into 4 to 5,000. How much 10 CR for the land? Correct, 20 crore for land. And the building. Okay, so I think maybe around 30 CR.
30 CR.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazing.
30 CR.
And you don't live here currently, right? So
Sorry, yeah. Oh yeah.
it's put
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
sale.
Exactly. This used to be our weekend home till just last December. Now 6 months ago, we had tied up with a 5-star premium villa chain called Stay Vista, where where people go online to Stay Vista or Airbnb or Make Bed Trip, and they come and stay over. Okay, for a night. Then now we have around 6 bedrooms here. 4 bedrooms the main house. We have a piano room. We have a party hall, what I call the lion room. We have 2 dining areas, jacuzzis, pools, fountains, waterfalls, 25,000 square feet of garden space, and 5 full-time and part-time, 6 full-time and part-time people on service, like with 5-star uniformed staff at this service. For that, approximately saves a charge and a ballpark figure around 50 grand weekday per night.
On that note, Thomas, I think if someone were to look at your life from the outside, right? Again, from the shady lodges to today,
Yeah.
You own a Jaguar, you own this 30 crore villa, doing multiple fantastic things. People will think you come from a place of privilege, right? How would you respond to that? And yeah.
See, do I have the privilege of being alive? Yes. Well, I know it sounds so cliched, but so bloody true. Do I have the privilege of having good health? Yes. Good enough. Do I have the privilege of having a solid family? Yes. Let me tell you guys, of all the investments you can make in your life, the biggest is your family.
True.
Trust me. They say behind every successful woman, you always say man, but now I say change it to behind every successful person, there's another person, partner.
Yeah.
He or she is your is your engine to make you better. Okay, that's the biggest investment you can make. Whether a man or a woman, either way, believe me, trust me. If they're not supportive, you're not going to go very far. So do I have those privileges? Yes. Nobody's going to see your movie because they may see the first movie because you're Abhishek Bachchan, because I'm Amitabh Bachchan's son. But after that, if the movie you're not good, no amount of nepotism is going to help.
Right.
Right? Okay, you might get more breaks than the regular guy.
Yeah.
So I think you make a privilege.
True.
You really make a privilege.
That's a very strong statement.
You make a privilege.
And Thomas, as a self-made man, right? I love that you earn and you also spend on life, right? On these things.
Yeah.
So what does money mean to you?
Money means there are only 3 in my opinion you can do with money. One is spend it wisely. Okay, so that's spending wisely, saving, which we spoke about a long time, and last but not least, sharing. In my faith system, 10% of my entire profits I have to give to charity. 10%. It's my faith, which means if I earn 1 crore, 10 lakhs will go to somebody less fortunate than me. Whatever reason, if they're less advantaged than you or less rich than you, is, as far as my concern, as my definition goes, poorer than you. And therefore they deserve your empathy or compassion or your helping hand.
Great, Thomas. I think thank you so much for sharing your journey. It's been so inspirational, all the way from the IIT being fired to, owning this villa, and your drive and your zeal to do so much more. So thank you so much for sharing. I had a lovely time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.